Hey everybody, remember me? Sorry, had to take a break, so I'll get into that at the end. So this way, if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. But anyway, you probably saw from the header, whatever, title below, no vinyl this time. This is all CDs. I do collect CDs. I do buy CDs. Right now, you can find a lot of great deals on CDs. So I did. Stacks. Anyway, I'm going to try to get through these. Eventually, I'll dig deeper into my CD collection too. But those are the two formats that I primarily collect are vinyl and CDs. I could get into more, but it's going to get slippery. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's try to remember how to do this. So, let's just jump in. A little bit of something for everybody. So what this is Terminator X and the Valley of the Jeep Beats. Terminator X was the DJ for Public Enemy. Primarily, this is more of a completionist for the collection, and one great song on here from Chuck D called Buck Wildin'. This is just a replacement copy of Barenaked Ladies' Rock Spectacle. Ours has been through the ringer. It pretty much lives in the car, so it's been pretty much beat up. Some Erykah Badu. I love the neo soul. Just fantastic voice. I can listen to that pretty much all day. I tend to stay away. Not stay away. I don't seek out best ofs on vinyl, because if chances are if I'm a fan, I'll buy the discography. But something like this is great for the car. This is the Dire Straits Money for Nothing best of. It's a club press. Doesn't really bother me as much. Pretty much everything you're seeing here I found for $1, so I'm not going to complain about that. Say what you will, but Duran Duran's a fantastic band, and this album is just a great collection of songs. See if I can get it without the reflection. You guys can see it. I mean, this is going all the way back to Girls on Film and Planet Earth, all the way up to I think there was 2 songs that they were, maybe there was 3 songs that they did specifically for this, but you know, it goes all the way up to Notorious and then some. So great stuff. 90s alternative action cracker. 90s alternative I really dig. Sorry, as I'm realizing I didn't really put these in an order, and there's some I don't want to show early. Build a Suspense. The Watchmen soundtrack. One of the few soundtracks that was pretty much almost mandated by the original source. The issues of the 12 comics or the chapters in the graphic novel kind of called out the music that was being used. Janet Jackson's Control. I'm a huge fan of Janet Jackson's and had a huge crush on her. So, told you a little something for everybody. LA Guns. Why is it blurry? LA Guns, Cocked and Loaded. It's on the Vertigo, which was nice. Had to replace the case on this one. It was really beat up, but there's the track listing. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, I do listen to metal, and I'm going to follow that up with some hip hop, because you know that's what I do. Q-Tip's first debut, Amplified. This was his solo debut after Tribe kind of cut it off. So I couldn't believe I found this one. $4 in a Goodwill. It does happen. Doesn't happen to me, but it does happen. So this probably exhausted my big find. This is Echoes, the Pink Floyd best of, which it even lists that it has echoes, and I was shocked that it was the full version. Just great stuff. See if it'll maybe focus, maybe not, but the only thing that's really off-putting about something like this is that it breaks up some of the songs that you're used to hearing them flow together. So, which was a little weird. I think the rest of these are, yeah, the rest of these except for one. No, I take it back. So I'll get into that stack in a minute. These were also dollar finds. Smith Meet His Murder, fantastic Smith's album. I'm aware that Morrissey's pretty much a douchehead, but I love the Smiths. Morrissey solo stuff I can give or take, but the Smiths I'll buy. Excuse me. I hadn't heard this live set, so Tripping the Live Fantastic from Paul McCartney and Wings Over America. Love both of those, but I saw this one, and this is from 2002. Just a great set there. 2-disc set, just, you know, for $1 I had to pick it up. And then this one kind of sparked my fancy. I get it, it's Phil Collins, you know, they're a dime a dozen. But what was interesting about this is that this is it's a West German press, and it's the Target, you know, like it's like a Target, like almost like a looking down a scope, the Target CD, which I had never actually seen one of those in the wild. I've seen them shown, but I'd never seen one before in the wild. And it was in really clean shape, so for $1, absolutely had to pick that up. So the rest of this was a haul that I had responded to on a Facebook ad. Excuse me, as I got an itch. So I had you know, you see the Facebook Marketplace stuff, and I responded to one, and real nice lady. Her husband had digitized all his CDs, and they were just getting rid of them. They're decluttering. I mean, that's not my thing. I would never do that, but you know, to each his own. I'm not here to judge. Plus, I got a lot of good stuff on a deal. But we ended up talking for a little bit, and she was really, really sweet. So I spent about $20. So 20 math, I'll say 20 CDs. There's one of them I'm not showing because it's actually going to be going out of a VCLT. So, which I will apologize to those. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. All the apologies are at the end. So for $20, this is what I picked up. So Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. Would love to get this on wax, but this is by and far my favorite Tom Petty album. I like Tom Petty. His earlier careers were strong with me. I can go a little deeper, a little past this, but not too many years after. It just wasn't always my thing, and I don't begrudge his talent or the people who love him. It just, you know, didn't speak to me. But this album, wow, this album blew me away when I first heard it. So I'm glad to upgrade it. I had a cassette a million years ago, and the last CD I had was just beat. So glad to replace it. Some John Lee Hooker. This is obviously later John Lee Hooker. This is from 1991. So John Lee Hooker. This one is Mr. Lucky. So if I can't find it on wax, I'll pick it up on CD. This is a tribute to John Lee Hooker. Has people on it like Jeff Beck and Gary Moore, Jack Bruce, Johnny Johnson, Mick Taylor. So it's a nice tribute to John Lee Hooker. Keeping with the blues, Albert King, and he is doing music made famous by Elvis Presley. So King does the King's Nights, or King does the King's thing, excuse me. It's actually on a stack of CDs. So that was kind of cool. Buddy Guy, Skin Deep. Again, not as familiar with some of the later stuff, but obviously I know who Buddy Guy is, and I know his earlier stuff, so I was glad to pick this one up for $1. This one was 2008. And he actually is on a new track with a young guy by the name of Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. He just put out his first CD. Been really making a name for himself on the internet and the blues circuit. It's I believe on Alligator Records, which I need to pick up. But his lead single is with Buddy Guy, so it's kind of like almost him handing them the torch. So great blues, definitely pick that up. But it's some Buddy Guy. And I thought I had another Buddy Guy in here. Buddy Guy Blues singer, and I think this was from the early 2000s, 2002, 2003, I believe. So again, glad to add that to the collection. And then one more. This one is Bring 'Em In from Buddy Guy, and this one is 2005. So glad to pick all those up. Easily found on wax, but no, he's not in the best copy. Best copies for. I see it out there like $20-25, but it's like, no. I mean, it's good, but it's not. I don't think I will pay that much for it on wax. But $1 for the CD, absolutely. I'm sure I'll pick it up on wax at some point. No rush. That's Derek and the Dominoes. Everybody's familiar with that one. As is this. Everybody's familiar with. I think everybody knows who this is. Because my booklet falls out. I need to pick up the Escher demos. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick them up on CD. That's not necessarily something I think I need to spend a ton of money for on the vinyl, but I really want to pick that up. But a nice clean copy of the White Album, and I also ended up scoring Beatles for Sale. Sometimes when the best ofs rain, they pour. This is the very best of Curtis Mayfield. It's on Rhino. Just a lot of killer stuff on that one right there. And another best of that I ended up picking up. Again, this is a Rhino reissue on Atlantic. The great the great soul man himself, Otis Redding. Just absolutely fantastic. I was spinning this one in the car the other day, and the voice, just a pure natural powerhouse of a voice, just really blew me away. And then one that I am familiar with, but I need to learn more of his stuff, Taj Mahal. Everybody says his debut is probably one of his best. I just want to, again, for $1, I just want to grab some and add it into the collection. So this has looks like one or two previous unreleased tracks or versions, but I'm willing to give that one a good shot to kind of start expanding. Also, they had a couple jazz CDs, which I was stoked. These I just was like, I would gladly take those, even though I have this one already on vinyl. I'm not going to let that one sit for $1. Mr. John Coltrane and Mr. John Coltrane. And this one actually has a couple CD only alternate takes of like 5 of the songs that are on this already. So I'm glad to pick that one up, as well as just another jazz classic, Mr. Ornette Coleman, To Save Jazz to Come. So I'm glad to have these. They sound fantastic. I will pick these two up at some point on vinyl when I find decent copies, but sometimes, if you get impatient, it's nice to have the CD just to be able to go, need something to relax to. And then the last one that I'm going to show, which was kind of like the reason why I had reached out to this nice young lady. I had seen, she posted pictures of all the CDs, and I saw these 4 instantly and said, "Hey, it's late. Can I meet you the next day?" And there was a little back and forth on that, and she was a little like, "Hey, I get it. You don't want to save something and then not show up." But she did actually save these for me, with a couple of others, and I was absolutely happy to come by and pick these up. So the Vaughan Brothers, just a fantastic album. It's good to see Jimmy and Stevie get a chance to play together after, obviously, Jimmy, felt like he was outshined, but also In Step, Texas Flood, and Posthumous, Sky is Crying. So real nice Steve Ray Vaughan. They're all super mint. So I was glad to add those. If I remember correctly, and I know I've referenced this stuff, and I really got to get this down, that stuff down here this year, but I've got these two up north on vinyl. I don't think I had them on CD, but again, for $1, I don't care. If I end up having them in my storage stuff, I'm sure I can trade them away. Wouldn't be a problem. So that's my CD haul. So for those of you who are sticking around, I just kind of wanted to kind of say thanks and an apology. Sometimes, you know, life gets in the way and we kind of have to take a step back, and that's kind of what happened. Just some things were going on. I got glare in my glasses. Some things that were happening with my son, my youngest, who's going to be 6 next month, and we had to make some changes for his mental health. There was something that happened at school, and obviously we were called and notified, and the proper protocols were taken and things like that. But because his school day wasn't as long as our work day, we had before and after care through a daycare facility. You know, they would drop him off, they'd give him breakfast and take him to school, and then they pick him up, and then he would play and do whatever in the afternoon. And I just think that place had gone on a little bit of a decline recently, and just situations forced us to make a change. Fortunately, work has been very gracious to allow me to work in the afternoon at home and things like that. So there was that going on at the same time that we got some news about my mother-in-law, who is, we come to find out, battling lung cancer, but turns out she is a candidate for surgery. So that's going to be coming up soon. So a lot of things going on at one time. A lot of that sparked a little bit of my health, and I had to go to the doctor. Was put on some blood pressure medication that's been messing with me, and had my anxiety medication adjusted. So in case, I think a lot of you may not know, I do suffer from anxiety. You know, it's not crippling, but as long as I take my medicine, I feel okay. I wasn't feeling okay, so it's been a rough month. But you know, son's better. He's got one more day left of school, which is next week, and so things are turning. So hence why I'm here. So I apologize that if I've been gone, and I've tried to interact with videos and make comments when I could, so I didn't feel like I was just completely disappearing. But that's why I haven't been on this side of the camera for a few weeks. And I hate to say it, there may be some days where I may have to do the same thing again with everything that's going on. But for those who've reached out and messaged, and I've talked and been able to just kind of chat with, it's been more than helpful, more than meaningful than words can even describe. To kind of know that there's so many of you out there that we're more than just pals on YouTube. We're really friends. So thank you one and all. That being said, I got I'm going to try to get some videos done. There's a lot of contests going on that I really want to support and show love to everybody. I'm going to try my best. I know some deadlines are right around the corner, and I really want to support everyone who is gracious enough to do these things, because I think it's important that we continue to support each other. There's a lot of great channels. I'm going to be doing some shout outs in my next video, on my next vinyl update video, which will be hopefully this week too. That's been growing, just stuff that I've picked up and cleaned and listened to finally. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, making funny faces, whatever it is you do. Thank you. So I'm right around 20 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Everybody, hopefully you have a wonderful and safe Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to everyone who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We'll leave it at that. Take care, everybody. Peace.